Welcome to 15 free web tools from Google with Jerry Swiatek presenting. Jerry leads the Academy of Computer Sciences at Citrus County High School and is a former district technology specialist in Citrus County, Florida. He is the founder and organizer of EdCamp Citrus, a Google certified innovator, Google certified apps administrator, as well as a Google education trainer. Basically, Jerry is all things Google. So Jerry, welcome.
To be here. This is exciting.
It's a big day today, Jerry.
That's awesome. I'm looking at how many people are here. I'm like, holy moly, I hope I don't mess up today.
All right, your screen is up. You're good to go.
Sounds good. Well, good morning, everybody. I'm so glad to be here. And as always, I am humbled and honored that you would spend time out of your Saturday. For many of you, maybe this is the first day of spring break. Or for some of you, maybe it's close to the last day of spring break. Anyway, I'm very excited to have the opportunity to share with you some of my favorite tools that I am not only using in my classroom, but tools that I share with teachers all the time. Every opportunity I possibly can, I share some of these tools with the teachers that I come across. So it looks like the Titan Pad is having some issues. I can't get into it. It looks like maybe we brought it down. So I don't have a list of all of these tools. I was relying on the notes in the Titan Pad to be taken by some of you. So when I share my content information, if you follow me on Twitter, send me a tweet, send me an email, let me know that you'd like a list of all of these tools. I will be more than happy to provide that list to you. You know, we can keep those lines of communication open. I'm happy to do that, okay? So just wanted to get that out of the way just in case that Titan Pad does not come back up. So as Lisa mentioned, I am going to be talking about 15 free web tools today. Little bit about me. As she said, I'm the Academy of Computer Science teacher here in Citrus County, Florida. I'm the organizer of EdCamp Citrus. Back in November, we had our 7th annual EdCamp Citrus. I'm always proud to say that EdCamp Citrus was the 5th EdCamp to ever take place in the world. It's kind of a cool thing to be able to say. I archive the weekly Ed Chats. You can find those at edchat.pbworks.com. I have all those Google certifications. There's my Twitter handle. If you'd like to reach out to me, shoot me a tweet, follow me there on Twitter, and I'll be happy to share these resources that I'm going to be sharing today. JSWIATEK on Twitter. So let me bounce out of there because I am actually going to do live demonstrations of all of these tools. Not going to do any screenshots or anything like that. We're actually going to get in there, have a little bit of time to play with some of these. So I would be remiss if I began a presentation about 15 Google tools without talking about G Suite. So G Suite, as many of you probably already know, includes a bunch of different tools. Google Drive. You've got Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, Google Drawings, Google Forms, this huge suite of applications that are absolutely free. And if you have a G Suite for Education account through your school or through your district, you get unlimited storage inside of Google Drive. So I happen to be logged in with my school account here, and maybe you'll notice, if you haven't been logged into Google Drive in a while, you'll notice there's a brand new link over here on the left-hand side called Team Drives. So what Google has done in G Suite for both business and for education, they have made it as simple as they possibly can for teams to have a shared folder to be able to share resources, upload files, make them available to anybody that is a member of that Team Drive. So I want to show you really quick just how simple this is to do. I've already created one here that I called Simple K-12. I haven't added any members, but I just double-clicked on that link to bring me into that Team Drive. To add members, I simply click on Add Members up here. I enter their email address. I hit Send, and automatically that person is now part of that Team Drive. So any files that either one of us put into that folder, into that Team Drive, we will have access to those files. This is super useful for departments within schools, departments within districts, right? In my county, we have several math departments at different high schools that are sharing resources with one another. So they've created a Team Drive, and they can throw all of their resources in, their lesson plans, their maybe worksheets, and although I'm not a big fan of worksheets, they can throw all kinds of stuff in there. and those files immediately become available to everybody that's a member of that team and that has access to that team drive. Really fantastic new feature that Google just instituted maybe just a couple of months ago. So love it. Love team drives, love Google Drives, love the fact that with an education account, you get unlimited storage inside of Google Drive. The next tool I want to share with you guys is a tool that's been around for a little while now, but there's still not a ton of people who know about it or use it. And that is a tool called Google Keep. Now, Google Keep is, I guess you could call it a note-taking app, but it's really much more than that. We can not only take notes, but we can create reminders inside of Google Keep. And now, just as of a couple of weeks ago, we can actually take our notes in a Google document, and we can very quickly import and add to or edit our notes inside of a Google Doc. In fact, let me pull up a Google Doc here. Let me show you how that works now. So I happen to be logged into my Google Keep account here, and I have just a couple of notes in here from a conference I went to a while back, and a little note here that I left for a conference I was at in January here in Florida. Just some simple notes here. So I'm signed into Google Docs. I'm going to create a blank document here. And then under the Tools option in the menu, you will find Keep Notepad. And when I click on Keep Notepad, it actually opens up my Google Keep account over here on the right-hand sidebar. So then I can copy and paste anything I want to from this note. I can do anything I want, or I can click on this little 3-button menu here, and I can choose to add that entire note to my Google Doc, just like that with the click of a mouse. I can also manage my Google Keep notes here. I can take a new note. I can open these notes up in Keep. I can delete them from here. So I can completely manage. They've fully integrated Google Keep now into Google Docs. The only thing I can't do here in Google Docs that I can do in Google Keep is create those reminders. So if I go here to reminders, I can click on I can create a new note here, new note, and then you'll notice this little icon here with the finger pointing up, and it looks like a little rubber band around it as a reminder here. I can choose a date and time, and then if I have an Android phone, or it might work on iOS as well, I will receive a reminder from Google Keep to my phone with the message in the note that I've typed up in Google Keep. Really, really awesome. The great thing about this is that Google Keep is available across any device. There's a Google Keep app for mobile devices, and it works perfectly on the web for your iPad. It works perfectly on a Mac, on a PC. It doesn't matter what device you're on. You and your students can be using Google Keep to keep those notes. All right. So we're going to be moving. I heard Lisa say that Jerry's going to take his time. Well, we're going to be moving pretty quickly through this one because I have a lot of tools that I want to cover in a fairly short period of time. So the next one I want to share with you is maybe my favorite tool that I use not just at school, but also in my personal life all the time. And it's a tool called Google Photos. Now, let me tell you about Google Photos. Google Photos is a photo, it's a photo app. I have it installed on my phone. I can access it on my PC. But what I love about it is anytime I take a photo on my phone, that photo, once I'm connected to Wi-Fi, is automatically uploaded and synced with my Google Photos account on the computer. So now on any device that I have Google Photos installed on or I can access, I can get to those files. Now, the really cool thing about Google Photos is not the fact that it can just back up my files. It's the fact that it uses AI. It uses artificial intelligence to actually determine what is in my photos. Let me show you an example. You'll see here that I have a picture of our dog. He's relaxing, he's chilling out, he's doing what he does best. But what if I wanted to find all of the pictures of my dog? I don't have to go through and tag these images with the keyword dog because Google's artificial intelligence is doing that for me. So now if I come up to the search and I type in the word dog and hit enter, it's going to find all of the pictures that have a dog in it, even the ones where he's dressed up in Halloween costumes. Even fake dogs from Walt Disney World and Pirates of the Caribbean. And it's not perfect. This is actually, I think this is my my son's head or something there. But so it's not 100% perfect, but you can see that it does a pretty good job. And this took the dog pictures out of thousands of pictures that I have inside of my Google Photos account. Now, the other thing that it does, you'll notice when I go back here, when I go back into search, notice all of these faces. What it does is it goes through all the pictures of people, pulls out the faces, and then automatically does a search filter for all of those photos. So these happen to be pictures that contain my son. Now, my son is 12. These are pictures from when he was 4. Obviously, he looks a little bit different than he did 8 years ago, but it still understands it is the same person. It's incredible. The other thing I love about classroom use here with Google Photos are these albums. We can create shared albums. So now if you ask your parents to send in pictures of their child, obviously most of the time now our photos are going to be digital, right? And sometimes we don't want to have to make the parent go to Walgreens or Walmart and get those photos printed. We can just create a shared album in Google Photos, make it public, give our parents the capability to share their photos directly into their album. And now you have all of your student photos from your parents for projects. Or you can create an album that you share with your parents to document all of the great things you're doing in your classroom. Google Photos is amazing. If you're not using it on your device to back up your photos and to organize your photos, one might argue you're doing photos wrong. It's fantastic. So check it out. Available iOS, Android, PC, Mac, it doesn't matter. Available on all of your devices. Wonderful, wonderful tool. All right, next thing I want to share with you guys is actually it's not a website, it's not an app, but it is an app. It's a Chrome app though, and it's called Google Cast for Education. Now there is one little caveat here. In order to use Google Cast for Education, you do have to be using a G Suite for Education account. So you cannot use a personal account for Google Cast for Education. But what Google Cast for Education allows you to do is it allows your students to broadcast or stream their Chrome browser from their Chromebook, from their PC or their Mac to your computer as the teacher, and then you can broadcast, you can show their screen on your projector. So I'm going to go ahead and launch this app here. It's going to take just a second to launch, and you'll notice if you're familiar at all with Google Chromecast, then you're going to recognize the little icon down here in the lower left-hand corner. So basically what it does is it turns my computer into a Google Chromecast device. Now in my classroom, my computer is always connected to my projector. So that means anything that the student is casting to my computer is going to be broadcast up on the screen. So my students would simply click on the 3 little dots up here in Google Chrome. They would choose Cast, and they would find my device. There it is, Mr. Swiatek. There's my device that my students can then broadcast their Chrome window to. So this is extremely helpful in a classroom of Chromebooks. If you're using Chromebooks and your students are doing great things and you want to be able to share their things up on the screen without making them come up to the screen, connected to the projector, you can use Google Cast for Education to allow them to broadcast their screen directly to yours. And again, that is just a Chrome app. You can find that in the Chrome Web Store. All right, next. Told you, we're going to go quick. Google search cards. You guys all use Google. It's probably safe to say that we all use Google search every single day. It is without a doubt the best search engine available out there. But did you know that there are all kinds of additional little tricks, little tidbits that Google hides in their search, and those are called search cards. For example, in my classroom, we are doing a lot of programming now. So we are using a technique called pair programming, where I rotate the students every 10 minutes. So instead of having to go out and find a third-party website or use a timer, a physical timer in my classroom, I simply come to Google and I search for set timer for 10 minutes. I hit enter, and there it is, a 10-minute timer inside of my Google results that quickly and easily. So when it goes off, it beeps. I can also use the stopwatch feature that is built right into it, and right in my browser, I have those features available. There are lots of other things we can do. For example, if I do a search for color picker, Google has built in a color picker into the search results. And I can also look at the hexadecimal values of each of the colors I'm looking at. This is really handy in my web design class where my students are looking for colors for their websites and so forth. But how cool is that? And I can choose a section of color here, click on it, and then it automatically gives me those values. There are other things like, let's see, apple pie recipe. There's a Google card with an apple pie recipe. I can also do math in a Google search. Let's do something simple like 3 plus 3, hit enter, and it brings up a Google search card calculator right inside of my Google results. So there are so many of these neat little Google search cards. Again, the one that's most useful to me is that timer. You may find some others that are incredibly helpful for you in your classroom. I love the calculator. My students use this all the time, and you know, it's a scientific calculator too. So now our kids don't have to be spending $100 on one of those Texas Instruments scientific calculators for their, you know, for their math class, right? Really, really handy stuff. The next tool I want to share with you guys is related to Google Images. So I'm going to do a quick Google Images for search for, let's do puppies. So once I get my search results, we've all been here, right? We've all seen these images. Now, part of the issue with using Google Images to do our image searches, especially in the classroom, is that our students typically will they'll find an image they like, they'll click on it, they'll download that image, and they'll use it in their presentation. The sad part is that most of the images that are found in a Google image search are going to be copyrighted images. So how do we teach our students to be good digital citizens? Well, we have to model that, right? So here under Tools, if I click on Tools, I get a bunch of additional options here in Google Images. Under usage rights, we can choose a Creative Commons license. Now, my students are always a little bit disappointed that a lot of their results go away, but again, it's a learning opportunity, guys. Those were copyrighted images. You don't have the right to use those unless you speak to the creator, and it's a big whole process, right? But if I go here to usage rights and labeled for reuse with modification, this means that the creator of that image has already given us permission to use that image, and we can modify it in any way we want. And then there's also some additional choices there, but labeled for reuse with modification is going to be your broadest brush, so to speak. So then what we have there, now we have a list of images that are all Creative Commons images. And you can see there's still some good images in there, but what if I wanted to narrow it down even further? What if I wanted to say, all right, now I want to find these images of puppies, but I want them to have predominantly a blue color. Well, I can click on color, choose blue, and now all of my image results are going to contain the color blue. How cool is that? So if we look at these, we can do this for all of these different colors. We can also do this for transparent images. If you're doing anything on the web, transparent means it has no background. So if I click on this image here and then click on view image, you'll see that actually we're not going to be able to see it. Well, there we go. We can see it here. The background is a checkerboard pattern. This means that when you add this to a website or you add this to a document, it's not going to contain the background. There's not going to be a white background that sort of makes that image look kind of yucky in a web page, right? So we can do that there using the colors option. We can also choose by type, and I also use this one a lot too, choosing by size so that it is equal to or larger than a certain size. So there's a lot of different options we can use there inside of Google Images. And the other really cool thing we can do with Google Images, I'm actually going to go back here to, let's go to any color. I want to show you guys this quick little tip too. I'm going to download this picture from Flickr. So I'm going to do a quick save image as. And I want to show you guys this really cool thing we can do in Google Images called reverse image search. So I'm actually going to go back here to Google Images homepage. So go back to images.google.com. And you'll notice there's a couple of ways we can do this. On our search bar in Google Images, there's a little camera there where we can search by image, and we can either paste an image URL or we can upload an image. The other thing we can do is simply drag and drop an image right onto the Google Images search window. And when I do that, it's going to upload that file, and then Google Images is going to search by that image only. It's going to give us results of visually similar images. And then it's also going to tell us where else is that image being used. So another thing that we run into a lot is our kids use images, they never remember where it's from. Well, now our kids can go back by doing a Google image reverse search. They can go back and they can cite the source where they got that image from. Pretty cool stuff, right? So that is Google Images and some additional Google image tools. Next, let's move on to Google Arts and Culture. Google Arts and Culture used to be called the Google Cultural Institute. They rebranded it a few months ago and it's now called Google Arts and Culture. It still contains all of the same amazing content. You can not only get access to art and sculpture and things from all over the museums all over the world, but we can also investigate historical events and historical figures with primary documents and just incredible information and pictures and video and documentation. Google has done an amazing job of curating all of this content for us. And here we did a quick search for World War I. There are exhibits that are created here inside of Google Arts and Culture. There are images and primary documents. Amazing source of content if you are doing any research in your classes on history or art. If I go here to artists, for example, we can look at Rembrandt and we can see all of Rembrandt's paintings and art that he has all over the world in different museums. And then the other great thing about this is we can also add all of these items to a list of favorites, which we can then make public or make available to our students through our website or our Twitter account or whatever we want to do. We can add or create our own collection of resources here in Google Arts and Culture. Absolutely phenomenal place for those historical documents, historical artifacts, art history. There's so much amazing things out here, and they just keep adding to it more and more and more. Every time I come here, there's more content and updated content and relevant content. So check it out, Google Arts and Culture. Next one I want to share with you guys is one of my favorites. This is a really great one if you are into digital storytelling. We want our students to be able to have a voice and be able to create a story digitally. And again, this is something that can be done on any device, works on all of them. I'm just going to click on Get Started here real quick. It's called Google Docs Story Builder. And I'm going to give a, let's do Lisa, and and then we usually have Lori, and we'll do Jerry. We'll add a couple of characters there. And then I'm going to write my story. So first of all, Lisa says, I'm going to do a really quick one. So Lisa says hello, and then Lori says, let's say, oops, I'm sorry. Let's go back and let's put that back in there. So Lori says hello, hey, how are you? And then I come in and I say, I'm fine, thanks. All right, I just throw in something in there. Now, when we're done, we can add music to it. We can also edit our characters. We can give it a title. And then when we preview that story, this is what is created. We see this neat little video of our characters interacting with one another in our document. Kind of cool, right? So we can then, as we create these, we can then share them, but our students can take a little bit of time and they can create these really fantastic stories where the characters are interacting with one another. It gets them familiar with dialogue, it gets them familiar with all kinds of different things. So that's Google Docs Story Builder. Another building tool is Google Maps Tour Builder. Now, Tour Builder allows students to create, I have to sign into my Google account here. Let's get signed in really quick. So Tour Builder allows our students to create their own personal tours. Now, what's cool about this is we could do this for, what my summer vacation was like. We could do this for if you're reading a book and it has different places, different settings in the book itself. You could have your students create a tour based on what they're reading. But it's really easy to use. I'm going to go ahead and add a location. And I don't know, let's drop a place mark here on Richmond, Virginia. And let's drop another place mark here on my hometown of Buffalo, New York. I live in Florida now, but I'm originally from Buffalo. So we're going to go ahead and let's add a location, drop place mark, Buffalo. So now once I add those locations to my tour, you'll notice I can add video, I can add photos, I can put in a timeline if I want to, but then I can type all about that location. When I'm finished with my tour, I click on Done Editing, and I have a share button that I can then share with the world. I get the same sharing permissions that I get with any Google Doc, so I can share these tours that I'm creating with the world. And then when we visit those tours, it's sort of I have to click from one arrow to the next to go through the Google Tour slideshow. Really cool stuff. The other tool that I want to share with you is another map tool. This is called Google My Maps. Now, what I like to demonstrate here in Google My Maps, you know, we've all seen maps and we've seen globes, actually not really on globes because globes are spherical, but on a map, when we're looking at a map, things don't always look right. If we look at Greenland here, well, Greenland certainly is not larger than the United States in real life. Well, there's something involved here called the Mercator projection. So the Mercator projection on a flat map means that anything farther away from the equator is going to show up larger than it actually is. But here in Google My Maps, we can do something kind of cool. I can create a polygon. I'm going to add a line around Greenland, for example. And what we can teach our kids here is that things aren't always quite what they seem. So once I draw that polygon around Greenland, watch what happens now when I drag this polygon down here toward the closer to the equator. Look at that. Oh, it's getting smaller. Now we see an actual representation of the size of Greenland because we've actually dragged it down closer to the equator. One thing we can do, really cool stuff. Our kids can get measurements, they can create, again, they can add markers, they can add descriptions, they can add additional layers, and then just like any of the other Google tools, they can share these maps as they are creating them. Awesome, awesome stuff. Another tool I want to share with you guys maybe are familiar with Google Hangouts. Well, Google Hangouts used to have a tool called Google Hangouts on Air. So Google Hangouts on Air was dropped by Google last year. It's no longer available, which is a shame because it was a phenomenal tool, but they replaced it with a tool that is almost just as good called YouTube Live. Now, the big benefit of doing a Google Hangout on Air or doing a YouTube Live Hangout is that anybody that you are connected with, the video is automatically broadcast live on YouTube, and you can control the permissions on who can see it and who can't. But more importantly, the video is automatically recorded for you. So now you have an archive of the video chat that you had with that classroom in Argentina or that classroom across the world, and you can go back and access it anytime you need to, or you can share that video with your parents and they can easily go onto YouTube and view that video. So to get to YouTube Live, I'm here at my home page. I'm logged in with my Google account. I'm going to go to my channel, and then I'm going to go to Video Manager. And here under Video Manager on the left-hand side, there's a section called Live Streaming. When I click on Live Streaming, now we see I have the ability to go live right away by clicking on, I can go Stream Now, or I can choose to create an event. And when I create a new live event, one of my options is using Google Hangouts on Air. So it didn't totally go away. It's still kind of there. It's just embedded now into YouTube, and it's called YouTube Live. So when I put in my title and the date and all this kind of stuff, and I click on, I can go live now, or I can schedule this to go live later on, then it automatically creates that event, creates a YouTube page for that event, and then it's going to automatically stream it live when we are on live, and also create a recording when we are finished. Awesome stuff. Check it out. It's called YouTube Live. Next tool I want to share with you guys is one that I use on my phone mainly as I'm getting ready to go to school in the morning, want to just check up and see what's going on overnight and so forth. This is a tool called Google News, news.google.com. Now, news.google.com curates content from all over the world, from all kinds of different publications. Doesn't matter if you're left-leaning or right-leaning or you're center, it doesn't matter what your political affiliation is. You're going to find some news that is relevant to you. We can also, I happen to be looking at the US edition of Google News. We can look at Google News for any of these other countries. So if we're in a geography class, or we want to see anything that's going on around the world, we can do that quickly and easily. We can also see, we can change our view of our news here. I can choose to only see the headlines, and then I want to click on each individual story. But what I really want to share with you is how we can personalize this news. Over on the right-hand side, if I click on personalize, I can control what news I see here on my Google News dashboard. I can also add any additional topics. For example, I'm a Buffalo Bills and a Buffalo Sabres fan, so I've added the Buffalo Bills and Buffalo Sabres topics. I can also, maybe I don't want to see any stories from the New York Times. I can drag this slider all the way down and I will never see New York Times stories. So we have total control over the content that we can see here in our Google News dashboard. That's why I love it so much. It's incredibly thorough. It is very, when you first open it up, it's not biased in any way or anything like that. So really, really good stuff. Two more tools, and I know I'm just about out of time, but I want to share with you guys two more tools. The first one I want to share with you is something called Google Fonts. If you are doing any web design, or you want to download some new fonts for your Word documents, or to create PDF files and so forth, Google Fonts at fonts.google.com has right now 818 different font families that are not fonts that are available natively in Microsoft Word or anything like that. So we can, let's say, for example, I really like this Jim Nightshade font and I want to download this to my computer. I click on the little plus sign here to add it to my cart. And then when I've done that and I open up my cart, I just click on this little download button here. It's going to allow me to download that font. Then I can install it on my computer, whether it's a Mac or a PC, and now I can use that font in any one of my programs. But check it out. There are so many really cool fonts in here that you're probably going to find something that you're like, wow, that's really cool. I'm gonna go ahead and grab that one. So take a look at that one, fonts.google.com. And then the last tool that I want to share with you guys is a tool that I use almost every day. I don't always have time to call my parents from the phone in my classroom at my school. So I do a lot of calling from home, and I don't necessarily want my parents to have my actual home phone number, my cell number. So I have a separate Google Voice account that I use for situations like that. So with Google Voice, I can actually create a phone number. And this phone number is absolutely free, but I can get my own phone number through Google Voice that when I call it, although I'm calling from my personal cell phone, the phone number that's going to show up in caller ID is my Google Voice number. So I can make phone calls from my personal phone without ever sharing my personal phone number. But the other thing that I love about this is I can use this as I'll give you a quick example of how some language teachers have used this. In my school district, we have some Spanish teachers that have their students do vocal exercises. They do audio assessments. So what they do is they have their students call their Google Voice number. They then leave a voicemail speaking in Spanish, and the teacher can test their oral skills in that language without necessarily having to be there physically. So they can have homework, for example. You have to call my number, speak this passage in Spanish so I can evaluate it. But then we can also download those voicemails as MP3 files. So now we can not only hear the recording, but we can now share that recording as an MP3 file. We can put it out onto YouTube if we wanted to. We can share it any way we want to. But what I like about that is that the kids can have a copy of that voicemail, that MP3 file, and they can be listening to their own voice as they spoke it in that voicemail. Just really powerful stuff. That's just one way we could use something like Google Voice. I use it to do all of my parent phone calls and so forth. So that's what I find most valuable. So I know we went through a ton, but I'm out of time. Again, if you would like a list of all of these resources I shared, I will be happy to share that with you. Just follow me on Twitter, send me a tweet, let me know that you want a list, and I'll be happy to share that list with you. I'm not sure how the Titan Pad has been doing, but you can find me on Twitter at JSwiatek. I'm JSWIATEK, or you can email me, and I'll be happy to email that list as well. jerryswiatek@gmail.com. And of course, you're welcome to visit my blog where I share some EdTech tools and tips, jerryswiatek.com. Whew, Lisa, I'm exhausted.
Jerry, you surprise me every time how much you can cram in, and it's still always easy to follow.
Well, I hope so. I hope it wasn't too much for everybody.
It's perfect.
Good.
A couple like yes/no questions. That way we can get through more of them.
Absolutely.
If you delete photos from your phone, do they automatically delete from Google?
Yeah, so you get the choice. If you're using Google Photos and you delete a picture from your phone, it will ask you, do you also want to delete that picture from your Google Photos account?
Okay.
And the other neat thing too about Google Photos app is there's a feature that allows you, if you go into the settings, there's like a free up space feature. So if you're running out of space on your phone, but you're backing your photos up to Google Photos, then you just choose that free up space feature. It will delete all of the pictures from your phone, but leave them in Google Photos so you still have access to them anytime you need them. It's pretty awesome.
Great. Do you know if Google Cast can share more than one screen if you have a dual monitor?
It can. Yeah. So I've had 4 student computers connected at the same time. Now it may not be because you can't. Yeah, you could do, I think you can do it on 2 different monitors. I'm thinking I would normally want it projected up on the screen, and I couldn't really project dual monitors up on my screen, but I can have 4 student machines up on my screen at the same time.
That makes
sense. Yeah, okay.
And question about the Google News, if you're looking at another country's news, is it in their language or does it translate to your native language?
It's a good question. Let me go ahead. I'm going to choose Argentina since I heard somebody was in Argentina in the room, and it is in their native language.
Okay.
So, of course, I would have the option when I click on the article. Google Chrome is, of course, going to prompt me, do you want to translate this article? And I have the option to translate it. But nope, in Google News, it does show up in the native language for the country you chose.
Perfect. Thank you, Jerry. Great presentation.
My pleasure. Thanks, everyone.
Now, folks still have questions pouring over from last time. I know Bill was writing in about where he can find his CEUs and certificates of completion. Folks that are joining us for this webinar as their first one for today, I want to make sure you guys all get the scoop on the membership as well as those certificates of completion. And I want to show you how you can access more than 100 on-demand webinars all about Google in the classroom from Jerry and lots of other presenters. And I know a lot of you, Jerry is a fan favorite, so I want to show you how to access all of Jerry's on-demand webinars. So for those of you asking about the certificates of completion, now's the time to perk up and watch those screens. In your membership at Simple K-12, you will go to view your profile. And if you're a new member to Simple K-12, make sure you tune in for this part. Once you're in your Simple K-12 membership profile, you just simply click on the word transcript. It's a nice big blue button. And in your transcript, we are able to record all of your live webinar performances, all of your on-demand webinar attendances, and you can receive CEUs and clock hour certificates whether you come live or on demand. Now here I think is where folks are getting a little bit worried. Your certificates from today will not show up for 48 hours. That's completely normal. You're not missing anything. It takes us that time window from the live events to check your attendance status. We have to make sure that you're actually here, and we bump it up against your membership to make sure that you have an active membership at Simple K-12. The CEU's clock hour reports are a perk of being a Simple K-12 member. Today's event is normally for members only, so to even attend to get this high quality training, you have to be a part of Simple K-12's membership community. But today we did open it up free to the public. It is spring break time. We know a lot of teachers are out there on spring break, so we thought we would open it up, probably why the event went viral. So many non-members with us today. And if you don't have your membership, in just 1 second, I can show you how to join today. Now, a lot of you were saying you want more in-depth how-tos on some of those Google tools, step-by-step, a little slower pace. Let me show you how to access those Google tutorials that you guys are looking for. In your membership at Simple K-12, the course catalog is where we help. It's where we house all of our training content. We have so much more than Google. We have formative assessment and assessment content, 57 webinars on that, 60 webinars on blended learning. That's where you can learn to flip your classroom management. This is a hot topic area for a lot of our members. 95 webinars in there, college and career readiness, differentiated and personalized learning, ESL, ELL, and here we are alphabetically down to Google. 51 Google Basic webinars. Then once you've completed those, you could go over to Google Intermediate over here. And then, of course, the Google Chromebooks area if you have those mobile devices. So in Google Basics, for example, let's say you pop in there, you want some additional training on Google Basics. You're going to see a course called Introduction to the G Suite. This is where you will find webinars organized for you. I'll give a second for that list to pop up. These are a great place to get started. An intro to Google Docs, an intro to Google Sheets, an intro to Google Forms, an intro to Google Slides. Now, these will be available for you on demand. You can pause, rewind, slow it down, watch it again, and you will receive those CEUs and clock hour trainings whether you come live or you come on demand. It really is the ultimate convenience. Now, if you don't have your membership today and you're thinking, I need to be a part of this teacher learning community, then here is how you join today. Normally, a membership to Simple K-12 is about the cost of a 3 or 4 day conference, but you do not have to pay this price today, guys. We do not want you to pay the $397 registration fee, which is our traditional membership fee. That usually gives folks a 1-year membership to Simple K-12. Again, it's about the price of a 3 or 4 day technology or curriculum conference. And this is a 12-month unlimited access membership. So if you think that couldn't get any better than that, you are right, but it does get better because you joined our event today, you do not have to pay $397 to join. Now, before I show you how to join today, I just feel like I need to say something to our members that did pay the $397. I know that you value your membership at that price, and if you are a member today, you can renew and extend your membership for today's very special offer. Now, guys, on the screen, Leanna is going to send a link out to you. This is how you can join for such a low reduced fee. We have several options for you today, slashing the price. Normally a 1-year membership is $397. Today it is just $197, with a 2-year membership being just $277, less than the price of a 1-year membership. Now, earlier today, I actually popped into the shopping cart and I noticed that there was an error in the shopping cart. It was actually reflecting that 1-year price at $147. Leanna and I haven't told our tech team about this because it is actually working. It is live. Folks are checking out today at just $147. I wanted to check it. It still is showing that $147 price. I don't know if our developers are going to get the memo. We certainly aren't telling them. However, I do know that it has alerted them of this error, so we don't know when they'll be able to come in and update this. The price should normally be the $197, but it is still active for $147. So if you are interested, I would go ahead and snag that, or perhaps the 2-year option is right for you, just $277, less than the cost of a traditional 1-year membership. Now, as I was mentioning earlier on the last session, if you join today, you do not have to worry about those certificates of completion. We will go back by hand and update your profiles with today's attendance. Normally, you have to have your membership prior to the sessions, but as long as you purchase and get your membership by midnight tonight, we are willing to go back by hand and update your profile so you get access to those. Now, guys, normally, again, this event is for our members only. Members, thank you for bearing with us. I know we don't normally do this sort of membership drive during the events for you guys, but since there are so many non-members, we wanted to give them an opportunity to join, and especially with the glitch in the shopping cart, it doesn't get any better than today. Now, I want to point out that the membership is for 1 or 2 years. It doesn't matter which one you select. You're still getting all of the perks. It's easy to understand the live webinars and the on-demand, but I want to talk to you about what it's like to be a member of Simple K-12. There are more than 650,000 teachers just like you that are already a part of the teacher learning community. It's a place that we can grow, share, and learn together in an online space. It doesn't matter if you're in a rural district, maybe you feel isolated, or maybe you're in an urban setting and you still feel a little bit isolated. You're going to find other teachers just like you. With 650,000 teachers a part of the community, I can guarantee you there's someone going through the same struggles or the same part of their career as you, and they're all here to help you out. When you join, you are joining a network of dedicated, passionate educators. Sometimes you're going to be going through times where you just need a mentor and someone is there for you. Other times you may feel a little bit frustrated with your career. It doesn't mean anything. It is very normal. We all go through that, but it's great to have that network of folks getting you through those humps of your career to motivate and inspire you to do what you love. At the end of the day, it all comes down to helping those students in the classroom. As teachers, we're faced with so many different things, from administration to government to lesson plans to this and that, but at the end of the day, we just want to help our students. Now, if you have any concerns about this being for you, I love to point out our 45-day 100% money back guarantee. I said this earlier, I'll say it again. We don't want you to like Simple K-12. I don't even want you to love Simple K-12. I want you to say Simple K-12 is the best professional development experience you have ever had as a teacher. And if you can't say that in 45 days, we will happily give you your money back to invest in yourself. Guys, when you join a professional development community like Simple K-12, or you go to a workshop or pay a couple $100s to go to a conference down the road, you are investing in yourself, and that is what I see this. I see this as an investment in your career, in your professional development growth, and we want you to absolutely love it. 650,000 other teachers love the teacher learning community, and I know you will too. We also have a couple special bonuses for those that join today. Not only are you getting the great discount, we're going to set you up with success with 2 of our Success Path books. The first one is all about Google, and the second one is all about Chromebooks. So if you follow these success paths, you will feel confident, happy, and excited using Google in your classroom. Now, again, a few folks were asking about other types of content that we have in the teacher learning community. So let me jump back over to the catalog. Maybe you're a science teacher. You can come down into the STEM area. That's where we're going to have STEM and math curriculum areas. You can either start by going into elementary or secondary grade. That's going to dive you in. Then you're going to see some of the webinars that are available in this area. All right, guys, so there are some things if you teach science or math. We have things for literacy, English writing, social studies, history. No matter what you teach, there is something for everyone. We have curriculum-specific things. We also have lots of technology-based things. Someone asked, what do I do with my Chromebook? Here is an entire area just for using your Chromebook. You're going to love these webinars. Tools for Chromebooks for formative assessment, free apps and extensions to help you save time and be more productive in the classroom, create engaging formative assessments for your Chromebooks, tools, extensions, and apps. Oh my, lots of great resources in here for you. Some folks are saying they actually have iPads. We have iPad training as well. It doesn't matter what technology you have. There is something here for everyone. Classroom management issues, ESL, ELL, the list goes on and on. There is no shortage of content in here. You also get access to the Shared Resource Center, which is similar to some teacher sharing sites where you have to pay $1 or $2 for a resource. There are no additional fees at Simple K-12. You're going to get access to browse by subject area, grade level, and resource type so that you can download these resources for your classroom. 857 lesson plans, 226 tests and quizzes that other teachers created that you can use, presentations for your classroom, 230 graphic organizers. I'm running out of breath showcasing everything that is in here. So guys, if you are interested, make sure you grab this link that's on the screen. Let's go ahead, pull your cell phones out. I know they're right by. You're already texting, you're tweeting, you're Snapchatting. You want to make sure you have this special link. We do not want you to pay $397 today. You can get 2 years for less than the price of a 1-year membership, but you have to have this very special link. So take a picture of it. We're going to get ready for our third session today, which is all about time-saving forms, surveys, and quizzes with Google Forms, which happens to be one of the most popular Google apps for education. And Kim Munoz is going to walk us through some awesome things that we can apply into our classroom the very next day. If you are joining session 3 today, log out, go into your email, find your session 3 admission ticket, and we'll see you soon. We hope you guys will take advantage of this webinar attendee discount. Leanna has just confirmed the cart is still displaying the $147 price. We honestly don't know how long that will last. It should be $197. We're trying not to say anything to the tech team, but I do know support ticket went out to them. So if you are interested, join now before they fix that shopping cart, or just go ahead and join for the 2 years at $277, which is the ultimate value. All right, guys, we will see you on the next webinar.